right. We have that call I mentioned before the news on line 1, and this is in response to a call I had with Tony on Thursday. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I am not too bad. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for calling today.
Perfect. I just want to speak on behalf of what you said. I just graduated from university. I took politics. I studied about freedom of speech. I graduated with a degree that deals with people. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to you speak about how Tony the Tory is not effective. However, I feel like you tried to humiliate him, and then you said that his thing is not effective. However, why does it bother you so much that he spoke on behalf of the Liberals? Like he's speaking about the Liberals. No,
well, he's speaking on behalf of the Tories.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's just the same call over and over. Essentially, when Tony calls, he has a specific agenda that never changes, and there's no discussion happening. He's just essentially saying, we can sum it up in one very short sentence. Liberals good, Liberals bad, Tories good. That's what the call is about, and it's only interesting for so long. And I think people have clearly said in all the response I get here that they're tired of it too, and that it's not working for them.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. You have an opinion about it. That's fine. However, how many Liberals have went on your radio station speaking about all these things that they're going to give the province with no means of giving it to us? And to be completely honest, all these people that are writing you about Tony the Tory with their issue is probably a Liberal. And
I don't think so. I think you're absolutely wrong, actually.
And that's fine. I might be wrong. However, I do speak to a lot of people who think that this radio station has turned into not open line anymore, open to anyone's opinion. It has turned into a Liberal campaign ad.
Wow.
I have listened to so many Liberals come on and speak about all these issues they have with PCs, and I have not heard you once say they were partisan.
Then you haven't been listening.
And it makes this radio station sound partisan.
You haven't been listening closely enough, because I do challenge, and when and if they are the government, by the way, it might be a little more intense, because, of course, then it's of a little more consequence. But I've had people, and I can show you the emails, where people say that we are a Tory station, that we are in favor of the NDP. We get accused of all things, and it really comes down to how you listen and what you're listening to, I suppose, and when you're listening as well.
Well, the thing is, like I said, I've studied politics. I've been listening to this station since I was 16 years old.
So wait, now, when you say you studied politics, are you dismissing or demeaning my particular perspective on this? Does that mean that your opinion is worth more?
What? I feel like anyone who calls in, their opinion is valid. I feel like you should not, like you mentioned what he said on 2 separate occasions. To me, it seems like bullying. We are surpassed this. We are in a day and age where you can come online.
When did I mention? When are you referring to?
You mentioned him Friday, and then you and Mike, whoever that man was.
Yeah, he called in, so
that's fine.
I didn't determine what Mike was going to call in about.
No, but the conversation was over. Then you mentioned him again this morning.
Because somebody called me and asked me to clear up the point that it's not the same Tony as Mike labeled him. It's a different Tony.
So did they tell you to say that he is not effective when he called?
No, I said that.
Exactly.
That was what I told him on Thursday.
You're trying to humiliate him.
No, I'm not.
I'm not calling in. This is open line. And as far as I'm concerned, as a person from this province, and I'm proud to be from this province, open line means open to everyone and their opinions. You take full advantage of being a talk show host, and that's fine. That's
Caller,
your job.
I have had Tony on the program. I cannot count the number of times. We have been more than open. In fact, that might be the problem. People are saying we're far too open, that until he's prepared to say something new, there's no real point in having him on again.
I think the biggest frustration with Tony the Tory is that when he calls in, he does not understand why all these things that are concerning to others, like where is the money coming from that the Liberals has been promising all this stuff to us? Where's the money coming from? He wants answers.
Are you suggesting?
He wants them to come online.
Are you suggesting that the PCs have not promised things that there may or may not be sufficient revenue for? Are you saying
I'm
that?
not saying. No. See, this is.
Are you saying it's only the Liberals that are making claims or making promises that might be outside of our grasp at this time? Or is that what you're saying?
Right now, I'm speaking to you about what you said. I'm not speaking to you about what... You know what? Everyone probably promised something that they didn't come through with. However, You do not attack one person that calls in about the Liberals and say that he is not affected because he is trying to figure out where this money is coming from. He is just asking.
I wasn't attacking him about
concerns.
that. I wasn't.
No, he's putting out concerns out there every time he calls in about the problems he has with the Liberals. That's all. And
my concern with Tony is that we can't have a discussion because he doesn't want to have a back and forth. There's no sort of, point here, point there, yes there. No matter what, if the Tories went out tomorrow and shot every dog in the province, he would be okay with that because it's not about what's being done. It's about painting one side, one color, absolutely 100% good all the time, never a fault, and another color absolutely wrong, no redeeming, no matter what they do. It's clear, it's obvious what's going on there. It's rah, rah, rah. Like I say, Tory's good, Liberal bad, all the time. Every call's the same.
But do you feel
no
that
point.
do you honestly think that he's the only one who does it?
Well, he's the only one who does it to that extent.
Is he the only one that calls into your radio station and only talk about who they vote for?
To that extent, yeah.
I don't.
To that extent.
Doubt it.
I mean, Marjorie calls in a lot of times. She's clearly a very strong Tory, but I can have a conversation with Marjorie, and she can say, yeah, you're right about that, and maybe not about that. There's some flexibility there, but there's no getting anywhere. And that's what everybody who responds, or 99.9% of the people who respond in one form of correspondence or another, say the exact same thing. And they are Tories, they are Liberals, they are NDP. There are Tories that write me and say, I cringe every time he comes on because he's not doing us any favors.
I don't believe that.
Well, I can show you.
Because completely honest, I've listened to him speak, like I said, since I was younger. Mm-hmm. And maybe he does not always agree with what you have to say, but you have opinions about everything. And not everyone's going to agree with what you have to say, and not everyone's going to agree, or you know what? A lot of people are going to disagree with what you have to say.
Sure.
Clearly, he is strong in his points. And when he calls in, he wants to make a point. He wants to get it across.
He wants to make the same point.
Before the 3 or 4 minutes are over. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. You know what? People are allowed to do this. This is open line. For a reason. It's open. You have your opinions, I have mine. The person down the street probably got, different ones from us. But this is open line. We do not try to humiliate
Open line doesn't mean we take everything all the time. At a certain point, you have to say that there's no purpose served in taking this call anymore because whatever has been said over and over and over. Whatever can be said has been said over and over. Anyway, I appreciate your perspective. I thank you for your call. I'm sorry you're frustrated, but that's where we are, I guess.
Perfect. All right. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.